This is video one of a Streamlit video. I'm going to take you through how to build a Streamlit application. We're going to be focusing on an image manipulation one. So the first thing we've got to do in this video is to get Streamlit set up and create an environment where we're ready to code. So I would recommend, well, I'm going to be going through using PyCharm as my IDE in this. So if you want to match this exactly, I'd recommend you install PyCharm, the community edition. And then when you create a new project, you'll be presented with this screen here. Give your project a name. I would leave it as creating a virtual environment. If you haven't already, I would make sure you've got the latest version of Python installed. Go to python.org. Let me just show you that on here. Okay, go to python.org, click on downloads, and download the most recent version and install that on your system. Once that's installed, you'll need to restart PyCharm for this to be picked up on there. Okay, so assuming you've got the latest version of Python installed, and for me, at the time of recording, it's version 3.11.3. We're going to create a main.py welcome script, and then you click create. It will take a little while for the project to run, and you'll have like a little progress bar at the bottom here. And once that's complete, you should have this project, but you'll have some code inside of your main.py. You can delete that code because we're not going to need it for now. And then we need to actually bring in the Streamlit library. So if libraries are new to you, the idea is that we're bringing in basically somebody else's code into our project, but it allows us to move our application on much faster by using their code. And there's a library basically called Streamlit, which will make it much easier for us to build a graphical user interface for Python, and we can actually run this in the web browser. So this is the library we're going to be using, and you're going to be probably needing to go to this website quite a lot as we go through this project. Now, to install the library into your Python project, you go down to the bottom here to Python packages, and I'm going to bring this right up. Now you can actually see on mine, I've already got Streamlit installed, but we're going to act like we haven't. So we're going to type up here Streamlit and do a search. And you'll see there's lots of different libraries attached to Streamlit, but the main one is the one we're looking for. So we click on this, and then over on the right-hand side here, you should have install package. If I click on a different version, you'll see here. So click on the main Streamlit and click on install package. And this might take a little while to download, so you might have to be patient here. When that's downloaded, we can minimize this, and then we're just going to test the installation now. So with like any other library, we're going to need to import it. We're going to import Streamlit as st. Now basically all this as st is doing is giving us a different name for this library, because we're going to need to refer to it quite a lot. If we left it as Streamlit, it means we're going to constantly have to type Streamlit in our code, whereas now we can just type st and the IDE or Python itself will understand that we're referring to this library here. Okay, so once we think that's up and running, what we're going to do now is create a very small application. We're going to do st write using Streamlit. And this will just write that to the screen. It's a bit like the print function that we've used often in Python before. Okay, so to run Streamlit, it's not the same as we normally would. We're not going to use the run button up here. As you see, if we actually do that, you can see we get a warning here. So we can't run it the standard way. So to run it, we're going to need to go to terminal. And once the terminal loads, you should be able to see this VANV in brackets at the front. If you're not, this means it's not using your virtual environment, and it means it won't work. So if that is the case, I recommend just going to new tab here or onto here and going to command prompt and then load a new one, and that should have it there then. Okay, so once we've got this up, we type Streamlit, run, and then we type the file that we wish to run. So main.py. Press enter. Okay, so off screen, it's actually loaded. I'll bring that across in a second. But before I do, what this has now done is created like a local web server for us. Okay, we're running it on our computer. So this isn't available on the internet. Okay, and on our computer, the address to get to this website is localhost 8501. So I could click this link and it would load in my web browser. Now, it's also been made available over the network that I'm using. Okay, so across my network, this is the address and port that it's going to be using. So address 192.168.0.20 colon and then the port 8501. If you are on a shared network with somebody, or you have, for example, your mobile phone connected to the same network, you can type this address into a browser on a different device, and it should also load the Streamlit application on there as well. So if I bring this across, this is what loaded on my web browser. And you can see here that it's up and running. Okay, so we know Streamlit's installed correctly. We know we can run the app, and the next video will then be looking at more how we introduce some widgets in Streamlit and also some layouts.